Good day, good day, good day, and welcome to the Impact Show. I hope you guys are doing well as we join you today for our lunchtime special. Today is actually day 19 of your 21 days of property investing success. So I hope you guys are actually looking forward to today's show. We've got so much to cover. We've got our recap to cover. We've got today's content to cover. Today we're speaking about working with investors. Today we are speaking about working with investors. First thing I want you guys to do, just to help me out on the stream, let me know that you guys are rocking with me. If you are ready to go, let me see the term ready to go in the chat. One more time. If you are ready to go, let me see the term ready to go in the chat. Guys, I am looking forward to today's show. I'm extremely looking forward to today's show. We've got a lot to cover and a lot of insights to share. So guys, hopefully you guys are rocking with me and you are ready to go. Now, before we jump in, let me just put everything in place. Before we jump into the deep dive, as we usually say, don't be a stranger, don't be afraid. Feel free to comment in the chat and say hi. If you are rocking with us for the first time, if this is your first time on any of our 21 days of your property investing success videos, kindly say hi in the chat and allow the people who are in the chat, the team and the other people who are viewing on today's show, to basically say hi back to you. That will be a great thing for you to do. Just say hi and allow the other people in the chat to say hi back to you. Now, also, if you are brand new, if this is your first time ever tuning into the Impact Investing Show in any way, shape or form, whether that be from our Saturday show where we show up every Saturday at 6 p.m, or whether it be connected to the fact that you are on this 21-day journey, if this is your first time, just write the word new in the chat. Just write the word new in the chat, N-E-W, and we will also be able to welcome you. I see our friend Israel C4, Mr. C4 in the chat. Great to have you online with us on this stream, and great to see you are commenting as well today. Now, guys, Today, day 19. Guys, I hope you understand that tomorrow is day 20. And the minute we hit day 20, we're somewhere else. We're one day away from it all being finished. Today is actually day 19. I don't even know how we got here, guys. We got here with consistency and persistence, coming again and again and again in order to add value and help people. I'm being told I'm slightly out of focus. I need someone in the admin support to get in here and spin the focus wheel in order to change the focus, because I cannot do that myself unless we do the whole BRB thing, which we did the other day. Guys, let me know in the chat, do you want us to be right back? If you want us to be right back, then we can do that. We can be right back and get the focus sorted out. And unfortunately, if we're not going to do that, we need the team to help out. So the team are in the room. Let's see if the team can help us with that. Now, guys, like I said to you, we have an extremely power-packed, punch-packed show for today. On today's show, we're going to be talking about how to work with investors specifically. And when we talk about how to work with investors, we're going to actually be talking about, that's perfect, I think it got perfect. Yeah, it's good. All right. Guys, you let me know if I'm in focus now, okay? You let me know if I'm in focus. The team have adjusted our screen, so hopefully we should be in focus now. But anyway, like I was saying, today we're going to be talking about working with investors. We're going to be talking about utilizing the funds that investors can potentially bring in order to help us move forward in our property investing activity. Now, one of the great things about that is the utilization of investors allows you to use little or none of your own money in order for you to invest in property. Now, let me ask you a question, okay? Simple question to start off tonight's show. If you could use other people's money to invest in property, what would that mean to you? Okay, I want you to really think about that question. This isn't one of those questions where you're just going to say, oh, this is the answer or that. I want you to really think about that question. All right. If you could use other people's money in order to invest in property, what would that mean to you? Okay, I'd like to see some comments in the chat. Let me see the comments in the chat. I know you guys are hitting the like button already. I appreciate you for hitting the like button. Let me see the comments in the chat. Okay, I'm going to ask that question one more time. I want you guys to really understand where I'm going with this, because this is going to be a foundation to how we move forward in tonight's show. I'm going to ask it one more time. If you could use other people's money in order to invest in property, what could that mean to you? Now, it's a really simple question, but the question has a powerful bearing on where you are going to take your future as it pertains to property investing. Okay, I'll say that again. It's a really simple question, but it has a powerful bearing on where you're actually going to take your future as it pertains to property investing. So I'll ask the question one more time. If you were able, okay, let me see your comments in the chat. If you were able to actually utilize other people's money in order to invest in property, what would that mean for you? What would that actually mean for you? What effect should that have on you? If you are able to utilize other people's money in order to invest in property, what would that mean for you? All right. So I'll let you guys think about that. I'll let you guys throw your comments into the chat. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to push forward. We got our recap to share. Straight after our recap, we've got a few other things for tonight's show in order to give you guys massive value. So guys, I hope you're looking forward to moving further faster in your property investing journey. And for those of you who don't know, let me just give you this brief insight. This is the Impact Properties YouTube channel where you get creative property investing on demand. Okay, yes, on demand. What that means is when you're ready to start stepping into creative property investing, this is the place where you get that. All right, so I want to encourage you, if you've hit like, thank you ever so much. Why don't you press that share button? Why don't you share this content with your community? Let other people in your community know this is where it's rocking. This is where the value's at. This is where you can take your property investing journey to a whole nother level by understanding things that maybe you didn't understand before, right? So why don't you press that share button and let other people in your community actually know that we are live right now and we're helping people move further, faster as it pertains to their property investing journey. Now, I feel like we're ready for the recap. Okay, let me know in the chat if we're ready for the recap. Let me know in the chat if we're ready for the recap. I feel like we're ready for the recap. Let me know in the chat if we're ready for the recap. And then what we will do is we will utilize the recap in order to push forward on today's lunchtime show. Guys, I'm looking forward to today's show. You know, it's always good to have the lunchtime show. You know, you get the show out, done early. And what that actually means is you can actually spend your day utilizing the principles that I'm actually going to share with you on the actual show. I got Ecosmios in the chat. Great to see you in the chat, Ecosmios. Ecosmios says ready. And that is the powerful thing. When you guys are ready, we get ready and then we go. All right. So Ecosmios in the chat saying ready. Guys, is Ecosmios the only person who's ready? Okay, is Ecosmios the only person who's ready? If it's the case, it's the case, and I'm cool. Me and Ecosmios can flow onto the show. But guys, let me know if Ecosmios is the only person who's ready, because we have value in order to give to you guys on tonight's show. Now, let's jump into the recap. Day one, we spoke about how you need to know what you want. We basically broke down that so many people in the property investing space do not know what they want, and as a direct byproduct, it hinders them from actually having the kind of success that they should have. It hinders them, it slows them down, it derails them from actually being able to achieve at the level that they really should achieve. Knowing what you want is crucial. That was day one. Day two, we shifted into a principle which I shared with you. Long word, short definition, metacognition, thinking about your thinking. I broke down on day two that you need to start to think about your thinking. You need to start to scrutinize, analyze how you think in order for you to get even more success in your property investing journey. Guys, let me tell you something. If I can be very, very open with you straight off the bat on today's show, day 19. Let me just keep it real with you guys, okay? Guys, I remember a time when I was working a job. And when I was working that job, I had to say to myself, do these people I'm working with actually want me to progress to the echelons that I am actually capable of? Okay, now the reason I'm saying that to you is because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to understand you might be in a similar predicament. You might be working a job right now, and you might go to work and look at your superiors and subordinates. Okay, and I don't like using those terms, which is why I use the quotations, because no human being is superior to another human being or subordinate to another human being. It's just the results that we get which make us look potentially superior. Okay, or the results some people have failed to get, which make them look like subordinates. But the reality is this: I was going to a job And whilst going to that JLB, I used to ask myself the question, do the people in senior leadership, do the people who are above me, do the people who are in the position and who are empowered to actually help me move forward, do they have my best interest at heart? Do they want me to succeed? Okay, this is a question I used to ask myself. I got Israel Toko in the chat who says, great question. Thank you ever so much, Mr. C4. We appreciate your question, or we appreciate your comment, excuse me. So this was a question I used to ask myself. We got Ellie Ballroom in the chat who says, hi, great to see you, Ellie Ballroom, in the show. So let me keep going, guys, because I'm gonna, again, like I said, I want to open up from the jump on tonight's show, okay? Because we're talking about tonight's show. We're talking about your way out, okay? If you want to understand in another terminology what we're talking about on today's show, excuse me, I keep saying tonight's show. If you want to understand what we're talking about on today's show, for those of you who are with me, who are taking notes, okay, we're talking about your way out, okay? Your way out. That's what you need to write down. The heading for tonight. The heading for today, the heading for this show, day 19 of your 21 days of property investing success is my way out. That's what you should write in your notes. If you really take on board what I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to show you guys how to make today amazing. Hope you can read that. That's what I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you specifically in today's video how you make today amazing and tomorrow amazing and the next day is amazing. Okay, so let me, like I said, I want to start off really transparent, really open. So let's jump in. So I was in a position working a job, semi well paid for a teacher, and I kept asking myself this question: do the people in power, okay, you might want to ask yourself that question about our politicians right now, do the people in power have my best interests at heart? That was the question. And I asked myself that question several times. Do the people in power, do the people in senior leadership, do the people who have been entrusted and empowered with the position to advance my career have my best interest at heart? Okay. And I shared with some of you guys heard the story that I shared with you about my daughter's first birthday. Some of you know about that story because I've shared that in these 21 days of your property investing success. But for those of you who do not know about that story, again, here's a little plug. Go back to day one and get all of the content from day one. Links in the description. But let's keep tracking forward because that's what I want to do. So I shared with you guys previously in the 21 days of your property investing success that I'd been in experience at a previous job where I had to ask myself, are these people actually thinking about me? Now fast forward to my last job, the last JLB that I had. Okay, working this job, putting in all of my effort, knowing I've got so much more potential, knowing I had so much more to give. And I just kept asking myself, like, why does it keep feeling like there are barriers to my success? Why does it keep feeling that no matter how much I put in, I don't get the same out? Why does it keep feeling that even though I continuously wake up early to get to school early, to deliver value early, I was even running morning workshops for some of my students where very early before classes, we do breakout sessions, etc. And the thing is, I just kept asking myself, why am I not getting the results I should be getting? Now, I was getting results as it pertains to academics, okay? My students were getting very, very amazing results in each of the classes I taught. But I wasn't getting results in terms of my finances. And my question just kept coming to me, like, why? Like, why am I not getting results in terms of my finances? Surely, if I'm offering value and delivering value in the classroom, then that should reciprocate in my bank account. The school should recognize that, look, this guy is amazing. This guy's getting good results academically. This guy's also teaching teachers how to teach. He's doing a fantastic job with the other teachers. Like, we should be paying this guy more. Okay, so that's the kind of space I was in. I started asking myself that question. Okay, you might have asked yourself that question. If you've ever asked yourself that question, let me know. But when I was asking myself that question, what it actually boiled down to, it didn't boil down to money. It didn't boil down to my efforts. It didn't boil down to my potential. It boiled back down to the question I mentioned to you guys earlier. It boiled down to the question of, do the people I'm working for and with have my best interests at heart? Okay, do they have my best interests at heart? And this was a genuine question I had to ask myself. And I want to encourage you, if you're in a similar predicament, if you work full time, ask yourself that question. Do the people who have the power, who've been empowered through means of their position, their role, etc., their stature, to support and help you progress in your career? Do they have your best interests at heart? Okay, now this is going to be a foundational concept and ideology for where we go in tonight's show. So this is why I wanted to break this out. Even though I'm in the recap, even though I'm on day 2 in the recap, I want to break that out and equip you with that. So for those of you taking notes, today's show, day 19 of your 21 days of your property investing success, we're speaking about investors. We're specifically speaking about how to get investors to invest in your projects, in your property deals. Again, I've shared this before. This is property we're talking about, but all of these skills are transferable. You can utilize them in other avenues, okay? But what I want you to understand is right now, you may be in the same position I just described, where you're working that job and you're not being valued and you're not receiving the reciprocation that you should be receiving for the value that you're putting into that industry, for the value you're putting into that classroom, for the value you're putting into that office, for the value you're putting into your employees, your staff, your subordinates, or for your superiors, okay? So let's go deeper, all right? Let's use this to kind of work out how we find our way out, because I shared with you guys today's show is about your way out. I'm giving you the way out, okay? So let's go back to the question, okay? Israel Toko, aka Mr. C4, says in the chat, great question. So let me remind you of that question, because some of you may not have been on with us at that point. Or if you're watching this on replay, you might not have recognized how powerful that question was, but Mr. C4 spotted it and said, that's a great question. So let me go back to the question. The question is, if you could get investors, other people, to put their money into your property projects, what would that mean for you? Okay, I want to see some answers in the chat. What would that mean for you? Okay, let me ask you something. Would that mean that you could invest in bigger projects? Okay, would that mean that you could invest in projects with returns on investment that you couldn't previously because now you have access? Okay, could that mean not only could you go for bigger projects, you can now also go for bigger profits? Okay, could that mean that you can now go for better cash flowing returning assets because of the fact that you now have access to other people's money? Now look, let me say this. You might be attempting to invest in London, okay? And your challenge trying to invest in London might be the simple fact that you feel you don't have enough money, okay? But what you need to understand is it's not just about money. And this is what I shared yesterday with you guys on day 18. So again, go back to the other days after this live and take advantage of all of the content we've already shared with you guys. It's not just about money, okay? It's about so many other things, all right? So I want you guys to ruminate on that question. I want you to think about that question. If you could use other people's money to invest in property or to invest, what would that mean for you? And I want you guys to give me some of your answers and let me know what that would mean for you. Whilst you do that, I'm going to finish the recap. So day 2, we spoke about metacognition, the long word with the simple definition. Metacognition means thinking about your thinking. Day 3, we shifted and spoke about your property investing vision. We spoke about vision. I shared with you from Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, without a vision, the people perish. If you don't have a vision for your property investing success, you are guaranteed to lose. You are guaranteed to be wiped out. Okay, you are guaranteed to commit, as I said on previous episodes, on previous shows, you are guaranteed to commit property investing success suicide. We should turn that into an acronym, but it's going to sound like something cringy. Okay, property investing success suicide. All right. If you do not have, and this is the great thing about this show, we got so many acronyms. If you do not have, I'm going to say it one more time. If you do not have a vision for your property investing success, you are committing property investing success suicide. That was day 3. Day 4, we started to speak about faith and fear, the imbalance and balance, the equilibrium that is needed to be met in order for us to balance those two concepts of faith and fear and put ourselves in the strongest position to take advantage every single time and win. What many people do is they face an opportunity and they say, I'm afraid, in different language. They don't use that terminology, I'm afraid. They use the terminology of this costs too much. They use the terminology of I don't know who I can use to get through this. They use the terminology of I can't do this on my own. They use the terminology of are you really ready for this opportunity? They use the terminology of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and all the other letters in the alphabet, but they don't utilize faith in order to annihilate the fear and take on the opportunity regardless. Fear and faith is a conundrum that we need to learn to master in order to move forward successfully. On day 5, we spoke about one of my good friends, personal development. We spoke about how personal development is your fastest vehicle to success. We spoke about personal development being the vehicle that will take you from where you are right now to the property investing success that you have clearly articulated on day 3 from your property investing success vision. We shifted into day 6, speaking about momentum. Momentum, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about momentum. I want you guys to understand this. On day 14, I'm skipping, okay? I'm skipping from day 6, momentum, to day 14 to help you understand something. On day 14, we had so much fun. We were laughing, we were joking, we were dancing. Day 14 was just energy packed. And I'm going to tell you why day 14 was so energy packed. I started to think about it. Why was there so much energy on day 14? I'm going to give you one of the reasons. Because momentum, day 6, I've likened it to this nearly every day and I didn't spot what happened. Momentum is turning the volume up. Momentum is realizing I'm feeling this. So let's turn it up. Let's crank it up. Let's get some more. Let's maximize the opportunity. You know what I did on day 14? I think I shared it with you guys, but I didn't realize the significance. On day 14, in the 10 minutes wait screen that we have at the beginning of the show, when we're getting the last things ready, when we're making sure the audio's good, the camera's good, you guys can see me, I can see you, proverbially. You see, when we're getting it all ready, you know what I did on day 14? I turned the volume up. The music was playing. The music was playing. But you know what I did? I turned the volume up. On day 14, I just went to every device and I turned the volume up. And I just started getting into it on day 14. Why? Because day 6 is all about momentum. Day 6 is all about momentum. That's what we broke down on day 6. When you've got the foundation in place, the next thing to do is turn the volume up. Get some more. When you get a great connection and a great opportunity and you take advantage of that opportunity and you actually find from that opportunity that it works, the next thing to do is turn the volume up. That's what I did on day 14. I told you guys on day 14, I actually said it. It's the music. I don't know. The music. I've just been bumping to the music. But what I didn't share is that I did exactly what I'm sharing with you guys, what I'm teaching you guys. On day 6, I spoke to you about momentum. On day 14, I used the principle the other way around. I turned the volume up. I built the momentum before the show even started. Hope you guys are starting to understand what I'm talking about. And you can do the same thing in property. You can do the same thing in your investments. You can do the same thing with your investors. We're going to get onto that in today's show. You can do the same thing with investors. You can turn the volume up. When things are going well, you can say, you know what, let's do more of this month. Let's do more of this year. Let's do more of this decade. Let's turn the volume up, team. You can do that. So day 6, that's what we spoke about. On day 6, we spoke about turning the volume up. Excuse me for not putting my phone on D&D. So straight after talking on day 6 about turning the volume up, we shifted into day 7. Oh my gosh. Day 7 was like my good acquaintance. On day 7, we started to speak to you about commitment. About how if you utilize commitment, you solidify your foundation. Your foundation of knowing what you want, your foundation of metacognition, your foundation of being able to have a vision articulated and clearly articulated enough for you to share with other people, your foundation of managing the imbalance between faith and fear, your foundation of being able to utilize the skill and principle of personal development, your fastest vehicle to your property investing success, your foundation of being able to turn the volume up. On day 7, I said all you need is commitment to solidify that. Then we shifted into the practical lessons from day 8 all the way up to yesterday, day 18, with today being day 19, more practical value for you guys. Day 8 and day 9, we spoke about mindset. Day 8, we spoke about protecting protecting your mindset. Day 9, we spoke about preparing your mindset. Day 10 and day 11, we spoke about marketing. We spoke about how marketing is essential to tell strangers exactly what you're doing. When we got to day 12 and day 13, we started to talk about managing relationships, the crucial component to having success. We spoke about negotiation. We spoke about negotiation no-nos. Straight after coming out of speaking about those things, we then spent 2 days speaking about measuring opportunities. And specifically as it pertains to measuring opportunities, we were talking about the return on investment. Let me say it again. We were talking about the return on investment. We were talking about how it's so important for you to get return on investment. Ellie Ballroom, I see you're clapping hands in the chat. We were talking about return on investment. How return on investment is fundamental. How return on investment is necessary. How return on investment is the thing to look out for. And from breaking down this concept of return on investment, we were basically saying, listen, guys, if you're looking at return on investment the right way, you are going to win. You can now measure things, apples for apples, stock versus crypto versus property ownership versus HMOs versus rent to rent, etc., etc. We went into that whole world speaking about return on investment. Guys, let me say this. If you're on this stream right now, whether live or replay, and you're hearing what I'm talking about in terms of the days we've already covered, and you have not been in rocking with us for the 21 days of your property investing success, I want to encourage you to go back to day 1 and get engaged. Get engaged with the content. Take your notepad, take your iPhone, take your iPad, take your tablet, take your pen, take your paper, take your Apple Pencil. Go get some notes. Go get some value, because this stuff is free right now, guys. This stuff is free to help you change your life. Give you 21 days of property investing success on a plate. The only excuse you can have at the end of this process of not having success in your property journey is you did nothing with what we've shared with you. That's the only excuse. There is no other excuse. And this was the reason we said we wanted to do this. I got to November of 2020. I said to my team, many people have been beaten up by the events of 2020. I want to help them start 2021 properly. Let's do 21 days straight of content. And we've done that. We've answered your questions every single episode where people have brought questions. We've answered those questions. We've given you the value. You know why? Because this year, you can't have an excuse. This year, I'm robbing you of your excuse. This goes back to day 4, the faith and fear. This year, I am stealing fear out of your life by impregnating faith into your life, by showing you exactly how this thing gets done. So we spoke about return on investment as we spoke about measuring deals. And on the last 2 days, day 17 and day 18, we spoke about maturing deals. Day 16, day 17, we spoke about maturing deals. Straight after speaking about maturing deals, we jumped into yesterday and today, where we are speaking about working with investors. Specifically yesterday, we were speaking about how you can find people to buy your property deals. Today, we're speaking about how you can get investors to invest in your deals. So you can enter a deal with none of your own money or little of your own money, depending on what you negotiate, and leave that deal with the deal, even though you didn't put your own money into the deal, even though you didn't fully fund the deal. Now that's the recap. Let me know if that was a powerful recap. Let me know if someone got some value from the recap just by sharing the word value in the chat. Let me see if there's value being shared here. So today we're going to deep dive. Today we're going to be talking specifically about how you, yes, you, not the person next to you, not the person on the other side of the window, how you can utilize exactly what I'm going to share with you guys today in order for you to achieve some more property investing success in your journey. This is what these 21 days are for, guys. It's for life change. KTR, I see your comment. Great to have you on the stream. Let's jump into the chat. Let's see what's happening in the chat real quick. Okay, guys. Oh, hey. I see my man Tosin in the chat. He says supreme value. Listen, guys, I don't even think I've seen a better word come before the word value before. Supreme value. Come on. Guys, why am I saying come on so loud? Tell me. Someone tell me. Someone who's been rocking with me for the 21 days of your property investing success. Tell me, why am I saying come on like this? Why am I putting energy into my come on? Tell me please. Okay, because I know some people have been some awesome students on this journey so far. So I know you guys understand how I get down. You understand the mentality behind what I'm doing. Come on. Momentum. That's it. KTR's got me out here. All right, we got... Actually, I said I was going to put the chat on. Look at me. Let's go with the chat. Guys, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you're getting value side by side with that, press subscribe. Hey! And feel free to hit the bell so you can get notified every single time we drop a video, every single time we go live. All right, now let's see who we got in here. We got Mr. Israel Toko, aka Mr. C4 in the chat. He says, hi peeps, hello to you. Mrs. I Can Win all up in the comments. Mrs. E Cosmios all up in the comments. All right. We got Ellie Ballroom says, hi Samuel, hi back to you. Ellie Ballroom, great to have you on the stream. Also great to have spoken to you earlier on today on the phone. We got KTR in the comments who says, hi back to you. Great to see you on the stream again. You've been rocking with us. Keep rocking with us. We appreciate you. We've got Ellie Ballroom who says, access to more profitable projects. Okay, perfect. So Ellie Ballroom's actually answering the question I asked about if you could get other people's money into your property deals, what would that mean for you? What would that allow you to do? So we're going to come back to that in a moment. We got Tosin in the chat. He says, hi, brother Samuel. Hi, Tosin. Great to have you in the chat. Kingdom Olua Tosin here. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Come on, you bring in the energy. I'm excited you turned the volume up for momentum. Come on, look at these comments, guys. Are you seeing what's happening here? Let's raise the roof and introduce a domino effect. I appreciate that. Let me see this last comment before we go even deeper into it. I'm so glad to be part of the 21 days of property investing success. Day 19, come on. Let's go. 10x, 100x. What's that? A million X, trillion X. Come on, guys. Guys, are you feeling this? Are you feeling this? Listen, I'm not even going to call you Tosin right now. Kingdom Olua Tosin. This is what we need out here. Let me ask you a question. Imagine if you had a power team of 7, 8, 9, 10 people rocking with that energy. Let me even go deep. I'm going to tell you the reality. For most people, they do not do a great job of building their power team. Okay, hashtag day 16, we spoke about this. They do not do a great job of building their property power team. So what happens is they might have one star player on the team. Now, if you think of a football team, with 11 players, okay? Football team's got 11 players. Imagine having one star. You know what happens? All the pressure ends up on the star. Psychologically, okay? All the pressure ends up on the star. It's like this. Imagine this. Imagine we jump on this stream and you guys don't come with the energy. All the pressure is on my shoulders. But you know the funniest thing? I say it all the time. This is a community, guys. This is a community. We're trying to make today amazing and every other day. So in order for us to do that in our community, we can't do that whole 1-star thing. Imagine a football team where you got 4 stars, 5 stars, 7 stars, 11 stars. And let me tell you something, guys. You guys are stars. You guys are professionals. Don't just look at the professional athlete and say, hey, look at him, he's a star. You're a star too. Come and be part of my team. Let's be stars together. Guys, this is why I teach this stuff. So, I got you, Kingdom Olua Tosin, firing up my chat. All right. Like I said earlier, Ellie Ballroom's putting the claps inside. KTR's got me. She says value. Ellie Ballroom says value. I love this. Tosin says in the chat, Olua Tosin, Kingdom Olua Tosin. Do you do partnership, Sam? Being part of my power team. Let's talk about that. I do a lot of the time coming in as a coach and sometimes as a strategic advisor. It depends. We can talk about that definitely. I see Supreme Value in the chat. I see Momentum in the chat. I see Value X with so many zeros. Guys, let me tell you something. I used to teach maths at A levels, but I ain't going to read how many zeros those are, and that is. And you're totally right, Kingdom Tosin. Kingdom Tosin got you fired up like Eric Thomas, 100%. It's about momentum. So let's jump in, all right? Let's jump in. I'm loving this already. So today we're talking about how you can use investors' cash in order to change your life. And I said to you guys, those of you who are with us right at the beginning of today's show, I said to you that today's show, I'm giving you the way out. Okay? If you haven't written that in your notes, you need to write that down. Samuel's giving me the way out today. I'm giving you the way out that I used. The way out of my job. The way out of the stress I was going through. The way out of the pressure I was going through. The way out of the uncertainty I was going through. Listen, someone needs to hit share right now. Someone just heard a line out of those 3 lines I said and says to themselves, this guy's talking to me. You, whoever you are, you need to press share right now. You need to find that share arrow and share this video, because there's someone else in your community who needs to get hit the way you just got hit by that line. And this is the reality. This is the real reality. In order for you to get the way out, you need to understand what you're getting the way out from. You need to understand where you're at right now. Because when I was working my day job, one of my big questions, massive questions to myself, I take Kingdom Oluwatosin's line, one of my supreme questions to myself was, do the people who are actually in position right now to help me succeed, to help me move forward, do they have my best interest at heart? Do you actually have my best interest at heart? Do you actually care about me? Do you actually care if I succeed? Do you care if I move forward? Do you care if I prosper? Do you care if I achieve my property investing success, vision, goal, etc.? Do you actually even care? This is why I needed a way out, because I resolved within myself that they didn't even care. I resolved within myself that they didn't even have an interest in what I was achieving. I resolved within myself that they were more concerned with the politics of work, playing EastEnders, who giving people titles. Who's going to be the Grant Mitchell of this episode? Who's going to be the Peggy of this episode? You see, that's what my job was like, guys. I don't know if you've ever had a job. I don't know if you've ever felt like that. But guys, if somebody's felt like that, just write the word here in the chat. Guys, I worked a job where it felt like I was an actor in EastEnders. I'm keeping it real, guys. I just want to keep it real with you so you guys can get immense value, supreme value on today's show. Guys, I was actually in that place in my life where I was going to a day job, trying to give immense value to the children I was working with, trying to give immense value to the staff I was working with, but the system, the equilibrium, the environment, the framework was created in a way where we were just acting. It was just like being in EastEnders. People were more interested in stupid politics than progress. Let me tell you something. I resolved in my life when I asked myself that question, do these people even care about me? Do they care about my success? Do they care about my progress? I resolved in my life to stop being about politics and start being about progress. This is what the 21 days of your property investing success is all about. It's about your progress. It's not about politics. I'm not here trying to tell you, oh, you should go and do this. You should go and do that. No, guys, use every single thing I've shared with you and go and get the way out. Go get the change. Make the change. Get the way out. The way out from the stress. The way out from the salary. The way out from, here's the one that really used to get me. The way out from the uncertainty. You see, when you come home at the end of the day, and look, excuse me, women who are watching this stream, because you may or may not feel the same. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to be transparent. I just need to be that transparent so everyone can hear me. Okay. But when you come home and you think, how am I going to take care of my wife? How am I going to take care of my children on this salary? You see, guys, can I go in? If I can go in, just say the words go in the chat, please. Let me know if I can go in, because I'm about to give you guys some heart to heart. I'm going to give you some real heart to heart. Let me know if I can go in. It's that real. It's really that real. You see, we live in a world, I've said this to you, where nothing changes until you change. Okay? Guys, I hope you understand what that means. We live in a world where nothing changes until you change. I want you to write this down as I'm saying this. I want you to understand how powerful it is that I'm saying this. Let me say, I'm going to say it again. If you are getting value, hit the like button, press subscribe. If you're not subscribed, press the bell notification and hit the share if you're getting value. I see the goings. Go in, Samuel. Go in preaching here. So let's do it. Let me tell you guys something, okay? I remember my first ever teaching job, okay? My salary was £29,000 per annum, okay? You guys, you know what you should do? You should write this down. You know what I should write down? I know it's crazy because, you know what? I've never heard a coach or a teacher say that you should write down stuff about their own story. But I think you should write down this part of my story, because I think the moment after you write down this part of my story, you're going to see parts of your story which connect with this part of my story. Let's go in. I'm working my first ever full-time teaching job as a teacher, a maths teacher. Okay. I got a fantastic head of department. I was in a very fortunate position. My head of department was sent from God. Let me put it that way. He was a blessing. Okay, he would encourage me. He was basically like a coach and a mentor to me. He'd encourage me. He'd coach me. He'd show me the route. Give me the heads up about what was going to come in the future, to be stumbling blocks, to be issues, to be erroneous, etc. Okay, so those were the great things. Let's go into the reality. I was getting paid £29,000 a year. Okay, so I was slightly above the base level salary because I could show that I had previous experience in terms of working in the supplementary school that I used to work in prior. I'm working my first ever full-time teaching job. I'm on £29,000 a year. The school is in Tower Hamlets. Okay, those of you who are from London, you understand what I'm talking about. Schools in Tower Hamlets, okay, dealing with students who are effectively quite deprived, okay? So most of Tower Hamlets, I don't want to say it's quite deprived, but you can look at the national statistics and you can see of the 33 boroughs where Tower Hamlets sits, okay? Now, the thing that's crazy, but yet amazing about that, is Tower Hamlets is the home of Canary Wharf. So although it's the home of Canary Wharf, it's the same place, it's the same space where you've got children who are going through immense lack. Okay, financial lack, destitute of family members, destitute of father figures, etc., etc., etc. That's Tower Hamlets. Okay, so my passion was to give back in East London schools because I grew up in East London, so that was a passion of mine. So look, I'm making £29,000 a year. Okay, I'm working in a school in Tower Hamlets, and one day I came home and said something to my wife. I need you guys to hear this. Okay, I need you guys to hear this. If you're a woman listening to this, I hope you've got a man around you who at least thinks halfway like this. Okay, I'm even trying to get up the calculator because I want to give you guys some real value here. I want you guys to see how I've done maths sometimes in my life, and it's changed me. It's massively changed me. All right. So YouTube saying we got an excellent connection, so we should be good. All right, so I'm making £29,000 a year. Okay, and this is pre-tax. I want you to bear that in mind. Right now, I'm even saying that, it just sounds stupid. So this works out to £2,416 a month pre-tax. Okay, £2,416 a month pre-tax. Let's do this. Let's times that back by 12, back to the 29. And let's assume I was paying tax at 20%. Let's be nice, okay? So if I'm paying tax at 20%, I'm walking away with around 80%. Now, we all know that's not true because we know you still got national insurance. And what most people don't realize is tax, 9 times out of 10, isn't actually your biggest reduction. For many people, especially if you work state jobs, your actual biggest reduction is national insurance. But again, most people don't do the math, so they don't realize. When your national insurance is at 9%, 6%, and that's off your gross, but your tax, your income tax is coming after your pension contribution, you need to think about that. But anyway, let me not do the math for you. You got to do the math for yourself. That's how you make the change. Nothing significant happens in your life until you change. Let's keep going into it. So 23,000, and you guys, some of you are going to be listening to this thinking, what's this got to do with working with investors? The bombshells are coming. Just trust me. So 23,200. If I walked away with 80% of the salary, which I know I didn't, you probably really walk away with around 60%. We're talking 23,200. You divide that by 12, okay? And you're talking about a man who's married, okay? That's £1,933. That's less than £1,000 a month, okay? That's the full salary. Okay, E Cosmeo says do the maths for yourself and throws in the money bags. Guys, we've all got to do our own maths. We've all got to work out our own equations, because your number might not be 29,000. Your 20% might not be 20%. It might be 50%, it might be 40%. Your tax situation might be different. Guys, what you got to understand is, although yes, I'm based in the UK and we've got a big UK audience, you've got to understand that there's people who are watching this who are going to be from the US. You got, our man Kingdom Oluwatosin just mentioned Eric Thomas. Like, we got people who follow Eric Thomas from the US who are going to be watching this. We got people following Grant Cardone from the US who are watching this. So I want you to understand, you got to do your own maths. So I'm on 29k a year, roughly at a 20% tax. We're saying that's 23,200 a year, but we all know it's less. So we're being really optimistic here. You divide that by 12, that's 1,933 a year, roughly, I'm getting at my first full-time job. And I was married. I got married just before I took this work placement. So you're walking away with £1,933 a month. All right. Now, what I want to ask you is this, because I want to be nice. Where can you find to rent? Yeah, because we're not talking about buying. We're assuming this guy's got no savings. Yeah, we're assuming this guy's normal. Okay, let's call it normal. Now, by normal, I don't mean everybody's in that situation. By normal, I mean this is the majority of people. So the majority. I don't know if I should say normal or just the majority, but you guys are with me. You know what I'm talking about. So let's say, okay, just for saying's sake, let's assume, okay, that I'm walking away with £1,933 a month. I'm working in Tower Hamlets. Where do I rent and have enough money left over to eat that month? And just assume I don't even have any children, so it's just me and my wife. Where do I rent and have enough money to eat and pay transport? That's even before we get into eating food, because where I live is going to determine how I commute to work or how I transport to work. So where am I going to live in Tower Hamlets? You guys jump on Rightmove right now. I want you, look, should we do this together? Guys, if we should do this together as a family, just write the word together or family. You choose the word, I don't mind, but let's see together or family in the chat. If I see together or family in the chat, I'm going to do this with you guys, because look, I want you to understand what I'm talking about before we jump into where I'm going with this in terms of working with investors and helping them get better returns on their funds. Just let me know if we should do this together as a family. I want to know, guys. Let me know, because guys, I told you this show's for you. This show isn't for me. This show is for you. So let me know if we should do this together. If we should do this together, I told you guys need to let me know if we need to show more stuff on the screen at times, all of that stuff, because I love doing this stuff with you guys. I love doing this stuff with you guys, but I want to know if you guys want it, because if you don't want it, there's no point in me doing it. Okay, I got KTR in the chat with those quick fingers. She says together. Okay, all right. You're going to rent a shed in someone's garden. Come on. That's the kind of comment that makes me want to break something. But you're so right, E Cosmeos. Thank you for sharing openly, transparently, and real. Come on, guys. Are you seeing this? Oluwatosin, my kingdom guy, says family. And that's what I need. I wanted to see them family comments. I see it now. Mrs. I Can Win is laughing up in the comments. She knows what's happening here right now. Transition. We on Rightmove. You guys said you want us to do this together. Let's do this together as a family. It's day 19. We've been rocking together for a while. We might as well be like family right now. Let's do this. All right. I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from before I drop the bombs. I don't want to teach concepts where people don't have foundations, because that's why all these property trainers out here are money grabbing, and then people don't get results because there's no foundation before they teach the concepts. And sometimes they're not even teaching the concepts, but let me not go into that political rant. All right. Do the maths yourself. I got family here, Eddie Ballroom, thank you ever so much. I got family here, Kingdom Oluwatosin, thank you so much. I got E Cosmeo saying together. I got KTR saying together. Let me share this with you. I want to utilize E Cosmeo's comments. I think she's put some powerful stuff in the chat, and I think it's very relevant for all of us. E Cosmeo says, Tower Hamlets, abundance of deprivation in the midst of abundant wealth. This is the world we're living in. Thank you, sister. Okay, because we need to understand that. We need to understand that. But this is part of, she's already alluding to part of what I'm trying to get across to you whilst we shift into talking about utilizing investors' money in your deal. Tower Hamlets, abundance of wealth in the midst of abundance of deprivation. I want you to understand that. Okay? You got Canary Wharf, you got the financial district of the world, some people say, but definitely the financial district of the UK in Tower Hamlets. And you also have a free school meals quota above any other borough in the same place. Does that make sense to you? But that's what you need to start to understand how to invest other people's money. She hit the nail on the head, my Mrs. Akanwin said, and she's so right. She hit it on the money. Kingdom Oluwatosin says, you guys are so right. So Ecosmio says this. She says, you're going to rent a shed in someone's garden. Okay? That was her assertion. You're going to rent a shed in someone's garden. Let's go in. All right? The postcode, the general postcode, okay, for the area of Tower Hamlets, the general postcode, okay, is E14. Okay? That's the general postcode. Okay? Hope you guys understand that. So that's why I'm starting with that. You've also got E1. You've also got E2. You've also got E3, parts of Bow as well. Okay? So E3, E1, E2, E14. I'm trying to start cheap. Let's even do this because I want to, like you said, you guys said family. So as a family, we'll be open and transparent. Let me put them all in the chat. E1, E2, E3, E14. Now, let me ask you guys as a family, where should we start? Okay? Where should we start as a family? Should we start in E1, E2, E3? Or should we start in E14? Okay? You guys tell me. And if you know the area, you'll know why I'm asking. Not only will you know why I'm asking, you'll also start to have an understanding of the power behind what I'm asking. Okay? Where should we start? All right. Tosin says start in E3. All right. You were the fastest, so we start in E3. Then we got Eddie Ballroom who says E14. E3 is not Stratford, but E3 is close. E3 is Bow. So E3 is the closest part to Stratford of Tower Hamlets. So thank you for that, Kingdom Oliver Tosin as well. So Eddie Ballroom says E14. So E14 was the second comment, so we'll go to E14 next. All right. So let's do this. Let's go to E3. Okay. Now, in a minute, I'm going to explain why I was going to go to E14 first. But let's do this. All right. So I'm looking in E3, this postcode only. Okay. Minimum range, no minimum, even though the minimum's where I'm going to need to be at. Okay. Maximum range, no maximum. Number of bedrooms, we're going to make this easy. We are looking for, this should work. I don't know why that's doing this. We got glitching going on. All right, maybe I need to manage the settings. Save and close. Let's see if this works. Okay, they don't want it to work like that. Okay, it's coming up, but somewhere weird. All right, we got to manage this. Let's say it's just me and my missus, okay? I'm going to be nice to you guys. 1. Ecosmio says we're going to have a garage. I'm saying we're trying to at least get 1 bedroom. Even, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Let's go for 1 bed as the max, and let's go for a studio. Even, let's see if Ecosmios is right. Let's go for no minimum. Let's see if we end up with a shed. All right, this is for buy. I made a mistake. I went into buy, but it doesn't. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's fix it up. All right, I want you guys to see what we're doing right here. So we're starting with E3. Let's go in. This postcode only. No minimum. No maximum. Minimum opportunity is no minimum. Maximum opportunity, we want to at least try and see if we can get a 1 bed. That's what we're living for. We're going to include let agreed properties so we can also see properties that come up. Added to the site anytime, property type any. Let's look. Now look guys, obviously this was a few years ago. All right, I want you to understand this was a few years ago. This wasn't last week. This wasn't 2 years ago. This was probably about 7-8 years ago. It's probably more than that. I'm not going to do the maths right now. I don't have time. But I want you to understand that yes, property ranges go up, rent goes up, but rent doesn't go up by £1,000 in the period of time I'm talking about. So you guys will understand what I'm talking about. The rent might have increased by £300-400 in that time. But I want you to see this. We calculated a moment ago based on my rough overestimate that I'd be walking around with £1,933 a month from the salary that I had working in a school in Tower Hamlets. Now, if you browse or peruse this, Rightmove shows us £1,348 first property, okay, per calendar month. You got to remember, you got to pay 5 weeks deposit, okay, and 1 month's rent. So you got to have that money, but you know, you're on a salary of 1,009. Yeah, let's keep going. What was that? 1 bedroom flat. Here we got 1 room in a house share, 520. You know what that is? Let's actually calculate the maths. 520. I want to know what proportion of 1,933 that 520 is. Wow. 26.9% of your income after tax. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you know, there's a rule of thumb. You should not rent a place for more than 30% of your annual income. And obviously that works out monthly. It works out monthly as well. So if you know what you make every month, the guideline for affordability is you should be within 30% of your monthly income. So if your monthly income is £1,933 a month, you should not be renting something which costs you more than 30% of that. Because obviously you still need the 70% to buy food. You need the 70% to pay for transportation. You need the 70% to take something and save just in case, you know, you have a bad month. Guys, I just did the maths here. 26.9%, okay, is how much of a proportion of the 1,933 I was being paid in my first salary I would have to spend to rent this room with my wife. A room. Not even a flat, a room. Let's keep going. Flat here, £1,148. Flat here, it looks like an ex-council block but done up nicely. No, that's purpose built. 1,350. Flat here, 1 bedroom, 1,300. Flat here, 1 bedroom, 1,300. Looks kind of more like a studio, but it's a flat. Here, 12950, 11311, 575. We're back in roomland. If I do the 575, the way I did that 500, we're probably going to hit 30% right there. So based on affordability, I should not be renting anything more than a room. So we're close to a shed. We're not exactly at a shed. Thank you, Ecos Mills. See here, 1,003, 1,235, 1,257, 1,009 for a 1 bedroom flat. Wiped out that month. If you're playing Monopoly, you're wiped out that month. Rent, please. You're wiped out that month because your income equates to your property price. Look at that. 1,500, 1,200, 1,200, 1,300, 1,365, 1,314, 641. 1 bedroom flat share. 1 bedroom flat share. So you're in a house, you're in a flat sharing, and you get your 1 bedroom. 1 bedroom here. There's 1 bedroom for £754, guys. From 1,900. Money gone, money done. 700 done. 802 done. And there's 17 pages of this, guys. 17 pages of poverty, basically, for a person who's only making 1,900 a month. Let me tell you something. That person's wife is forced to work. That person is forced to stay in the JOB unless they find a way out. That's what we're talking about on today's show. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. That person is forced. Look, there's 389 results and it doesn't make a difference. The person is forced to lose. Let's go to lowest prices to help us even more. Let's go in order of the lowest price because that's how most people search. Most people are searching from the bottom of the barrel. So we got 477, slightly under the 500. You're still above 20% of your income and it's still 1 room. Here you go again, flat share, still 1 room. Let agreed, 481. Cha-ching, 498, 500, 520, 520, 520, 555, 563. So basically, to do the math simple, to be within the cap, let's find out what 30% is. Okay, 1,933. I got the calculator, guys. Apologies, I'm not letting you see it. Guys, let me see. Can you see everything clear? Can you see the web browser clear? Can you see the Rightmove numbers clear? Let me know, guys. Just write the word clear in the chat if you see it all clear. I'm sure you can because we're already having fun, but let me know. All right, so 30%. Oh my gosh, this is worse than I thought. You know when you do maths in your head, then you do it for real and you realize, oh my gosh. 30% of a salary of 1,933, which was the salary I got as my first full-time teaching job whilst I was married, is £579.90p. Let me even throw this out there because some of you might relate to this. Unless you are in social housing, unless you are getting some kind of benefit, some social benefit, guys, you are stopped right. Let me see if you guys can see this. You are stopped right here. You see this advert here? Citizen? Hey, that advert marks where you got to stop. Because for affordability, if you are bringing in 1,933 a month, this is the last property in the postcode of E3 that you can consider renting. 585 is above the 579.90. You are capped at that advert from Citizen. Okay, let me put this in there. 579.90. We're gonna use this number. Okay, so that's in the chat. 579.90. That is 30%. Okay, of the salary. Okay, salary. Let's give you all the numbers, guys, because you guys are doing this like a family. We said salary £1,933.33. Listen. I'm throwing these numbers in here so you guys can do the numbers and see if I'm making a mistake, if I'm doing something wrong. 30% of your income is supposed to be what you spend on your property. So when I got my first full-time job as a teacher and I was making £1,933 after tax as an overestimate, because I remember those pay slips were saying 1718, hashtag tell the truth. But the reality is, let's say being over optimistic, I was getting 1,933 a month. 30% of that is £579.90. That should be my cap. Now let's take this cap to the next level. I hope you guys are getting value from tonight's stream, because all I'm doing right now is setting a context. If you're understanding what I'm doing right now, you are gonna see when we start blowing this up. So we got E3. Let's go to the next postcode. Eddie Ballroom says E14. Next postcode E14. Now listen, I'm gonna tell you guys why I wanted to check E14 instead of E3. I know that E14 has the cheaper properties than E3. Okay, that's one of my beliefs, or that was the case previously. And as you can see here, when we checked E3, we only had 400 properties. Right now, you guys should see top left, just under where I've typed E14, we've got 2,000 properties for our criteria. Okay, so there's a lot more stock in E14 for the lower, I don't want to say lower class, but for people looking for smaller denominations of property. So if you're looking for one bedroom, you're looking for a studio, looking for a room, E14 is going to have more of that than E3. Okay, I know that from my own experience. So that's why I wanted to go E14 first, because I assumed there'll be cheaper property and we'll hopefully get something better. But let's keep going. We're looking at the lowest price. We got 2,000 options. Let's see where we get stopped. Okay, £100 per calendar month. I don't even want to know what this is going to say. I can't even read this from where I am. So hopefully, let me see if I can read this like this. Guys, we got something for £100 per month. Maybe me and my wife would have been cool. Oh my gosh. Hey, Ecosmios. I think we might have to give you a prize, my sister. Oh my gosh. Guys, can you read what it says on there? I just read it, guys. I just read it. Oh my gosh, Mrs. I can win first to the touch. £100 per calendar month. I actually thought me and my wife could have found something. Henry Wiltshires is proud to present you an underground car park space. An underground car park space for £100 per calendar month. Someone hit the like button. Parking space available now. Residents, parking space. There's more than one ad. Look, Ecosmio said it. A shed, though. A shed for my African people. A shed, though. Another one, parking. We got 3 parking spaces, 4 parking spaces. We got parking spaces that nearly look as much as the cost of a room. £200 per calendar month. KTR says, LOL. Trust me, I'm laughing here. Parking spaces. Let's go further. We got some rooms here. 1 bed flat share. E14 433. So slightly cheaper not that much, but slightly cheaper, we might have got a room. 450, we might have got a room. 475, we might have got a room. 477, we might have got a room. 477, we might have got a room. 498, might have got a room. What's my number, guys? What's my number? Tell me my number where my cap ends. Oh my gosh, we're getting closer. I see the 5, the number 5. We're still in room shares. We're still in room shares. We're still in room shares. Oh my god, we're still in room shares. We got to the end of the page. We ain't hit the cap yet. 42 pages to go. Let's go to the next page. Okay, let's go. 550, room shares, room shares, room shares. 555. Are we at the cap? We're close, we're close. Mrs. I Can Win is laughing out loud. I'm done right here. I'm done right here. Look at this. This is a loft room for a husband and wife to share on a £1,933 salary if you stick to the rule. Here goes. Ecos Mill says some people's cars will be sleeping better than people. You ain't lying, sister. Come on. Come on. Mrs. I Can Win says the same thing. Come on. You got people's cars sleeping more comfortably than human beings. Jeez. All right. So look, Atlantic are our last opportunity right here. £570. The minute we go over here to this estate agent right here, we've gone past our budget. Okay. The good thing is, like I said, in E14, there's a lot more options, but they're all still one room. Okay. So now let me break it down. Let me break it down. Hopefully you guys are ready for me to break it down. I've been going in on this. Hopefully you guys are ready for me to break it down. Guys, look, let me tell you, we can go to E1 and E2, but we're just fooling ourselves. Let me use that terminology. We're fooling ourselves if we go to E1 and E2. E1, 1,000 specific things to potentially be rented. Look at this. This is E1. Oh, they got some rooms. They got some rooms. They got some rooms. Are we going to end up on page 2? Or are we getting capped on page 1? Oh, we made it to page 2 on E1 as well. That's good. All room shares, mind you, still. And then bam, we're capped here. 1 bed flat share. So again, only rooms. All you're going to get is a room. All you're going to get is a room. Let's jump into E2. I told you guys we'll do them all. So let's jump into E2 and see as well. All right. E2, look at that. E2, first place, the cheapest room, 520. And obviously the let is agreed. Obviously it's gone. 355 results. All right. Let's see where we're capped. Look, we're not even going to go far in E2. Come on. E2, we're capped here by advert number 5 or 6. And again, it's a room. It's a room. So let me go into it, guys. I hope you guys are hitting. Listen, I hope you guys are smashing that like button and the share, because I'm sure you understand what's happening right here. Guys, let's leave this up. I want this to actually ruminate with us. A car parking space, guys. £100 a month. Let me put it down. Listen, go get a car parking space, make some passive income. Anyway, let's keep going. What I want you to understand is what I came home one day and said to my wife. Again, like I said, guys, sometimes I just do some maths. You might have felt the same. I was working at JLB. I was on my first full-time salary as a teacher. I was on 29k. I was a well-paid first-year teacher. Most first-year teachers, guys, go check the government statistics, okay? £27,000 if you teach if you teach maths and science is the base salary, okay? When I got into teaching, £27,000 was the base salary. What that means is you couldn't be a teacher. I believe that's in London anyway. You couldn't be a teacher in the UK teaching maths or science and get paid less than 27k. All right. So that was the protection I had. I couldn't get less than 27. Remember what I said a couple of days ago, guys? This is a ladder. This is a ladder. Don't scream about where you are on the ladder. Work out how to get higher on the ladder. So 27k was the base. I got paid 29k. I got 1 or 2 bumps up, okay, from the base level because I could show evidence of prior teaching experience, okay? So there are teachers who would have got 27k, been married and working out whether they rent a room, and 30% for affordability for them might have been £450. But let's look at this. So I've got £1,933 roughly coming in a month, married man, working in Tower Hamlets, one of the most wealthy boroughs in the UK, as Ecosmios also says, littered with deprivation. which converts to 30% of that income being £579.90 per month. And as we just looked, in every single postcode, in using Rightmove, obviously we're being biased, there's Zoopla still, but I'll let you guys do that in your own time. Using Rightmove, we've just ascertained that we get to page 2 out of 42 pages. We get to page 1 out of 15 pages. We don't go past page 2 with the opportunities, and it's only a room to rent. Okay, only a room. You're only going to get a room on that salary with that amount of disposable income. So this is what happened. I came home one day. I said to my wife, I said, listen, I said, something's wrong. And my wife was like, what's up? What do you mean something's wrong? I said, look, I don't understand this, but something's wrong. She said, what do you mean? I said, I work in a place which do not pay me enough to actually comfortably live in the same area I work. I want you to understand that. I work in a place, this is what I shared with my wife. I said, I work in a place which does not actually pay me enough to comfortably live in the area that I work. Like, guys, you have to think about that. Like, if you work somewhere, that's where you work. That's where you spend 8 hours potentially of your day, every single day, Monday to Friday. I hope you see, look, Mrs. I Can Win said it in the chat. I remember that day. Listen, guys, I hope you understand the maths I've just shared with you. I came home one day and said to my wife, something is wrong. And she said, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, how can I work somewhere where they do not pay me enough to live in the same location, to live in the same space? Do I need to go and rent a house in Nottingham for £900, 700 for, let's call it the 500 for 579.90, and then pay the other 579.90 I got to travel? So I'm using a third to live, to rent, a third to travel, and then the last third to eat food. Is that what I have to do? I said to my wife, something's wrong. All right. Now, let me tell you something. I didn't know at that time that what was hidden in the maths that I did was the solution to what I'm sharing you guys today is the way out. You see, working with investors is about providing something where they can see you care. It's about providing an opportunity where they can see you are offering them something that is for them. It's not just for you. You see, I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. If I'm allowed to be very transparent, I'll say this to you so you guys understand what I'm talking about. I probably would have stayed with that employer if I started to see or started to believe that they actually cared. One way they could show that they could care or that they cared would be to actually provide me with enough of a salary where I could comfortably live, in the area where I was working. That's just one way. They might not have given me the money. They might have said, look, we're going to give you subsidized housing. They might say whatever. The point I'm making is, as an adult on a £29,000 a year salary with a monthly income after tax optimistically of £1,933, and 30% of that being £579.90, which means that the only thing I could have rented in that area would have been a room. I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't fathom it. And that's why I had to say to my wife, something's wrong. And this is why E. Cosmius' comment earlier on about you do your own maths is so powerful. Because when you do your own maths, you'll come to your own conclusion. You'll start realizing for yourself, you know what? I'm in a situation which is a winning situation. How can I change my situation? Now, let me share something with you. You see that emotion? If you're with me where I'm at right now, if you're rocking with me on these 21 days of your property investing success, if you followed me through that journey, if you felt what I just tried to convey to you, what I felt when I shared that with my wife obviously felt it because she says in the chat, I remember that day. If you felt this, what I just shared with you guys, if you're emotionally connected and attached to what I just shared, you know what you're going to understand right now. That's how every single investor feels before they invest with you about their money. They feel like their money is not caring about them. They feel like their money is not giving them its true potential. Their money is not helping them the way their money can help them. You see, one of my coaches explained this to me years ago. He explained it as the money problem. Now, I don't have the time to explain that on the stream, But those of you like KTR, like Also Can Win, like Mrs. I Can Win, like anyone who's in the stream who's ever been to one of my Get on the Ladder workshops. And it's powerful I'm saying that because Get on the Ladder started 2 years ago on this day. Okay, anyone who came to the January event, January the 19th, 2019 was the day we started the Get on the Ladder workshop. 2 years ago. Okay, so this is why it's powerful. I'm even sharing this because this is one of the principles I used to teach on the Get on the Ladder workshop. On the Get on the Ladder workshop, I used to teach the exact principle one of my coaches taught me, which is called the money problem. And the money problem basically clearly states, for anyone who's been to the Get on the Ladder workshop, Mrs. I Can Win says, oh yes, wow, time flies. If you have been to the Get on the Ladder workshop, any person who's been to the Get on the Ladder workshop, you would know that I break down the money problem. And the money problem simply states, just the heart of it. I can't break it down right now. Again, if you guys want a video on it, let me know, etc. But the money problem clearly states that every single person in the world has the money problem. And the money problem is that you want the money you have to work harder for you. You see, there's a person right now who's watching this who has access to over £100,000. Right now you're watching this and you've had the thought several times, why isn't this money producing more for me? Why isn't this money actually creating a way out for me? You see, there's a person right now who's watching this who potentially could refinance their house, pull out £250,000. There's someone watching this right now who's got access to millions of pounds. Okay. And again, when I'm saying right now, I'm talking about whether on live or replay, but you know what I'm talking about. There's someone who's watching, who's engaging with me right now. You're rocking with us all up to this point of the video to understand exactly what I'm saying to you right now, which is you've got money, but you're actually asking yourself, or you have at least asked yourself, why is this money not doing more for me? Okay. So that feeling that I had, I didn't realize that embedded within my mathematics, embedded within my analytics of my situation, as I was saying to myself, hold on a minute, something isn't right here. I'm not getting paid my true potential, my true value, a representation of what I bring to the marketplace. You see, as I was going through that maths and I started to feel that something's wrong. I'm giving the value. I'm showing up on time. I'm doing the extra, but I'm not getting paid the reasonable. You see, I shared it with my wife, but what I want you to understand is that emotion, that feeling, I didn't know then. It took me a coach. It took me experiences. It took me investing. And I'm giving this to you guys for free right now. It took me a journey to understand that that is exactly how every investor feels up until the point that they put their money into an investment that they are comfortable with and say, you know what, I'm happy I made that decision. And let me tell you something. You see, when you deliver on that promise to that investor, when you actually sell that property, you know, pay them their funds back plus a profit, when you pay them back the loan, if it's a loan agreement plus the profit, you see, you shift everything. Because you've taken them from a place where they're dealing with the money problem, where they're dealing with that concept of why is this money not producing more for me, to a place where, wow, like this guy, this person, this man, this gentleman, this lady, you just helped me to do this. And I was going into it earlier. I kind of cut back. I'll share with you guys. If you're a woman, excuse me, but let me go a bit into where I was going, so you guys understand where I was going. For a man, for me as a man, going home and dealing with that in my mind, like something's wrong. I'm working in a place like this is what I'm doing, what I was told to do. I'm doing what, people told me was the right thing to do. Go get those degrees, go get a job, utilizing your degrees. You're going to get paid, when you get paid, go buy a house. Like, I hope you understand this spanner in the works helped me start to see that the conventional mechanism it can't work. It can't work. Well, look, I don't want to be biased and say it can't work living in London, but you could see London helps you realize that really quickly. This don't work. Let me tell you something. What are you going to do living in a single room with your wife, working a job in the same borough? What are you going to do to buy a house? What are you going to do? What are you really reasonably, let's say that, what are you going to do? You see, there are people who are in that position right now, And they might have 10,000, 20,000 pounds in saving, living in a room. Okay, living in a room. You might be living in a room with your wife with 20,000 pounds in savings. You know why? Because in London, 20,000 pounds isn't a deposit for much. Even if you're going to use Help to Buy, where you got a 5% deposit, 20,000 at 5%, how much house is that buying you? Okay, 400,000 pound worth of house. How much house is that in London? You got to ask yourself, there's certain areas where 400,000 pound won't get you a 1-bedroom flat in London. Now, guys, I'm not saying this because I want to bring doom and gloom. I want to bring the energy. I want to give you the way out. And the way out is first understanding where the investor who's going to jump in your deal feels about the money that's sitting in the bank, getting pence each month, each year. You see, I remember the first time someone approached me and said to me, Samuel, I've got £100,000 and I want to put it into your projects. I remember the first time that happened. We was at a dinner. It was a property investors dinner. It's the end of the evening. Gentleman walked up to me and was like, look, Samuel, I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're so family oriented. Your family is such a big part of what you do. And I'd like to put £100,000 into one of your projects. And I remember asking that gentleman, I said, why? And he said, well, it's like I said, because you're so interested in your family, I'm also a family man. I understand that. I want to work with you. And guys, I want you to understand something. You see, for that gentleman, that £100,000 that he had refinanced the property in order to pull out, you see, that £100,000 was just sitting there doing nothing. And he had the opportunity for that £100,000 to be maximized or to be optimized. So he decided to take that opportunity and work with us and reach out to us. So working with other people's money starts from a foundation of understanding the heart of the money problem. Most people have funds and are looking at those funds like, why aren't you doing more for me? Now, the moment you understand that, the key for you is to build some realistic trust. You have to build a relationship based on trust. And you have to do something that my employer in that first job, when I came home and conveyed this message to my wife, did not do. You have to show, and hopefully you're doing this out of a genuine heart. Guys, I'm speaking to ethical people, okay? We haven't read the disclaimer tonight or today. I'll read the disclaimer in a moment. But guys, I hope you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm trying to give you this value so you can see exactly how you can use this moving forward with investors' money. You have to come from a place which, like I said, this employer didn't do for me, where the person understands you care. You have their interest at heart. You want to see them win. You see, in property circles, there's this statement that's used all the time, win-win. It's a win-win. It has to be a win-win. It has to be a win-win. Let me tell you something. There are true win-wins. I have several win-win property projects I've done or I'm currently in the process of doing, or I have also several win-wins that I'm in right now, i.e. we've done in the past and I'm still in. There are win-wins, okay? But you see, the difference is when someone comes from the position I just conveyed to you, where maybe they're not a teacher. Maybe they're not on 27,000. Let me start painting another picture for you. Maybe they're a quantitative analyst. Maybe they're on 270,000. Okay. So maybe finding a place to live in Tower Hamlets isn't a problem for them. Okay. Maybe saving money isn't a problem for them. Maybe they have £200,000 in the bank rather than the £20,000 of the potential teacher in the room, for example. Okay. Because everything in life, like I say, is a ladder. You just scale up the ladder. So we've dealt with the teacher who's making 27,000 a year, who's walking away with 1,900 a month, who's basically only going to be capped at £579 90p of rent a month. But then we can scale up, okay, to the quantitative analyst who's bringing in 270k a year, okay, who's got no problem finding a place to live in Tower Hamlets, who's got no problem saving 20% of his, after-tax income or her after-tax income every single month. Now, you see, this person, let's say they've got 200,000 in savings and the teacher has 20,000 in savings. That teacher has the money problem with that 20,000, because that teacher maybe can't see how that 20,000 can help them really buy a house in London or really buy a house in Tower Hamlets. So if you have a viable opportunity, which might be a rent-to-rent opportunity, you see, you can now see the incentive for that particular teacher to take some of that 20,000, half of that 20,000, all of that 20,000, depending on your offering, depending on what you're presenting, and providing there's trust between you, that person could fund your next deal. And then funding your next deal could become a win-win for you and for them. But you have to be able to convey that you care about them winning. Because if you don't care about them winning, first and foremost, you shouldn't be doing the project in the first place. That's my opinion. I don't encourage people to work with people when they don't care about the people they're working with actually winning. Okay, why do you want that person to win? You see, that investor I shared with you guys, that first investor who committed 100K to us, his rationale was, you're a family man, I'm a family man, I'm interested in family, I want to support what you're doing. You see, he wants me to win because he knows with more money, for example, and doing bigger projects, for example, and making bigger profits, for example, and bringing in more rent, for example, is going to result in me blessing my family more, or me being more of a family man. Because you see, one thing people don't talk about, money is a magnifier. Money's a magnifier. Just like I said, momentum, turn the volume up. Money turns the volume of people's character up. So if you don't have the right character, listen, you don't want money. You want to sort your character out. But when you've got the right character, money's going to come to you because it's okay for you to amplify your character. Okay? So in this predicament, the gentleman was inadvertently saying to me, I know that I could amplify your character and it will be cool for me. I wouldn't end up in a negative predicament if people like you had more. You see, and guys, for those of you who's watching, you need to really understand the mindset of that investor so you guys can win more. As you're watching this, you've been with us for 19 days or you've just shown up for the 19th day. It doesn't matter how long you've been on this journey. The reality is you need to take a leaf out of that investor's book. You need to ask yourself, well, how can I amplify this? Because I'm getting value from this. And I think if there was more people getting value from this, we might have a better world. We might not have people living in sheds. So as a result, let me hit the share button. Let me donate to the channel. Let me, whatever it is, let me buy something to support their studio build. Let me connect with Samuel about a property opportunity. Let me, like Kingdom Oluwatosin said, let me work with my man. Let me see what I can do. Guys, if you're getting value, hit the like button. Side by side with that, press subscribe if you have not subscribed already. And press the bell notification. Let the YouTube world know this is the show. Let the YouTube world know this is the one. So for episode 19, for day 19, I want you guys to understand something simple. It starts with the heart of the investor. Where's the investor at? They're hurting. They're hurting about that money. And listen, let me tell you something. They might not be emotionally distraught. The quantitative analyst with 200K in his bank, he's probably not emotionally distraught. He's probably so tied up in the 9 to 5, just like I was as a teacher, so tied up in the day job, he's not even thinking about the 200K he's got in his bank. He knows he's got other staff members or other colleagues who've got more in the bank, 400,000, a million, 2 million. He knows his contemporaries have more. That's not the issue. That's not what's causing him to be distraught. He knows the 200K is sitting there doing nothing. 0.01% interest per annum. And it could work harder for him. But who are you? That goes all the way back to day 10 and day 11, marketing. Have you marketed effectively? Have you put yourself in front of that stranger? Have you created that relationship with that stranger where you're now managing that relationship? From managing the relationship, have you got opportunities which you can now measure with that stranger? From measuring those opportunities, have you actually sealed the deal using the do it now principle that we spoke about when we spoke about maturing and getting that over the line to work with this investor? Now, as we talk about working with investors, this is what I want to bring to you guys. I want to bring to you guys the concept that when you understand how someone feels about their situation, about the money that they have, which is not invested, and you can bring a solution because you genuinely care about them not feeling like that anymore. You genuinely care about shifting their paradigm from a place of, why am I only getting this from that? Why do I see these £30 each year for the whole 200K I've got sitting in the bank? That puts you in a position where you can now say, I can help you with that. How would you like me to help you with that? You know, How would you like me to actually present you with opportunities where you can actually put some of that money in and receive a more generous return, a return that works for you, a return that can help you, a return that will support you, a return that will move you forward? You see, there's one of the investors we've got. It's interesting. His daughter's in university, and he set up an agreement with us where we basically send him, obviously, his proceeds every single month. And the thing that's interesting is he's just said to us, he said, look, that money just goes to my daughter going to university, so we don't have to have student loan debt afterwards. Guys, I want you to understand how you're providing solutions for people. That's what using people's money in your deals is about. It's about providing solutions for people. What solutions are you providing? If you don't even know the end solution you're providing for your investor, I submit to you that maybe you haven't done enough due diligence to be in the position to actually have that investor on board. Because you want people to come on board because they know that you care about that specific issue of whatever they're dealing with, whether it's their daughter going to university or whatever else, being taken care of, being handled the right way, being handled in a way where there's less stress, less drama, less issues, and more success. Just like these 21 days of your property investing success. So let's jump into the comments. Let me take questions. Any questions you guys have. Whilst you guys are doing that, let me talk to you about our key resource. First and foremost, for those of you who do not know, we offer a key resource every single time we go live, both on the 21 days of your property investing success, as well as our Saturday show every Saturday at 6 p.m. If you haven't got it already, go get this key resource, impactproperties.co.uk/book list. That's impactproperties.co.uk/book list. You can get the 7 best books for your property investing success. Absolutely free. That book list is absolutely free. It will give you my recommendations for you to move further, faster in your property investing journey. So it's right there. Go get it, man. So that's that. Now, side by side with that, whilst you guys are writing your questions about working with investors, I see Ellie Ballroom's comment, powerful comment, outstanding value. Appreciate that. First thing I want to say to you, if you are new to this stream, if you're watching us on the replay, or if you're actually with us live, but you're brand new to this environment, to what we're doing in the 21 days of your investing success, go check the description of this video, okay? In the description of every single one of our 21 days of property investing success videos, we have all of the links to all of the other videos. So if you want to find day 1's video, link is in the description. You want to find day 2's video, link is in the description. You want to find day 3's video, link is in the description, and so on and so on. Now, if you are rocking with us from day 1, we gave book recommendations and also video recommendations in the first few days. Straight after that, we then just shifted to our book recommendations, which we've done throughout the 21 days. And now from day 8, every 2 days we recommend a book, and today's book recommendation is in the description. Go and utilize that link, impactproperties.co.uk/book 19. Now, the book for day 19 is a book actually written by someone I know personally, or he's one of the authors, but that book talks about the concept of trust, okay? The concept of trust and how trust is necessary for business partnership and also investment, okay? So again, guys, links in the description. All the links are in the description. You want to join our Facebook group, links in the description. You want to donate to the channel, links in the description. You want to support us through our Amazon wish list, because we are currently building a purpose-built content creation studio to give you more value, to help you move further, faster, even more. Links in the description. For anything you guys need to move forward in your property investing journey, the links are in the description. Guys, I think that's a lot of stuff. I think that's a lot of stuff. Let me know, guys, if you guys are getting value. Eddie Ballroom says outstanding value in the chat. Let me know if anyone else is getting value today, excuse me, because we got to do this. Let me tell you something, guys. This is the way out. It's the way out. Hit that like button and you know what else to do. All right, guys, this is the way out. I want you guys to understand that this is the way out. This ain't one of the ways out. This is the way out, okay? So now I'm going to go all the way back to what I wanted to go through earlier. The question I asked, if you could use other people's money to invest in property, what would that allow you to do? Ellie Ballroom's the one person I think who's answered that question, and the answer that Ellie Ballroom puts inside is access to more profitable projects and getting closer to financial freedom, and then giving back. And I think it's a powerful answer, because what you've done in that answer, Ellie Ballroom, is you've actually put 3 different aspects into your answer, which each of those aspects I think are very encapsulating and powerful concepts. First and foremost, more profitable projects. Fantastic. Guys, I want you to think about that. If you're able to empathize and understand where these investors are in terms of their journey, the fact that they may have resources, cash, money, not necessarily utilizing that, and you can actually provide solutions for them, what you're actually doing is you are providing more profitable projects for them and also for you. So again, that's fantastic. That will allow you to scale up, that will allow you to do more, etc. You've also mentioned here getting closer to financial freedom. Now, all of us have our own goals. Day 3, in terms of our property investing vision, we should see from day 3 that basically if you've got a property investing vision, part of that might be financial freedom. Okay, people use different terms. Sometimes some people don't use the word financial freedom, they use financial independence. Financial freedom, financial independence, whatever it is, being able to sack your boss, being able to sack your wife's boss, being able to sack your spouse's boss, husband's boss, boyfriend's boss, girlfriend's boss. Guys, it don't matter what you call it. The reality is being in control of your decision making more, because your finances is no longer holding you back. So again, Ellie Ballroom, I think that's a powerful second encapsulating part to the answer of that question. And again, I want to encourage you guys, like, think about these things for yourself. What could you do if you could have investors invested in your deals? Let me tell you something. You could stop being afraid. That's like something people don't realize, the emotional aspect. Going back to day 4, you can stop being afraid. You can increase in your confidence. This is something I've spoken about on one of the previous days. You can increase in your confidence. Okay. Let me even put it this way. You might not have thought about this. I know one particular person, when they got an investor, they went and got their first ever coach. You might be the person who's telling yourself, oh, I think I need a coach. I need a coach like Samuel. But you know what? You don't have enough money. You know what? This or that. You might not even know how much we charge for coaching, but you're already telling yourself you don't have enough money. You know the funniest thing? If you were able to have an investor invest in your projects, invest in you, you might turn around and say, you know what? I'm going to go and get a coach now. Now I'm actually going to take that step and get a coach because I've got some investment funds in me. So I'm going to use my money to pay for my development, my personal development of getting a coach. Okay, so again, these are things no one's mentioned, but these are intrinsic things that may be of value to you if you had people investing in your deals. And let's touch on the last one, giving back. That is powerful. And this is kind of basically back to the concept I just conveyed. If you have investors invested in your projects, that could allow you to free up your cash, to use your cash to do other stuff, to do philanthropic work, to do benevolent work, etc., and just give back. So again, powerful. I know the comments were popping off. We were having a whole bunch of laughs as we were going through that example with Tower Hamlets. I see Mrs. Akan win in the chat, a car parking space, lots of laugh out loud emojis. We got Ecos Mios who says a shed, more laugh out loud emojis. Ellie Ballroom says laugh out loud emojis, and KTR laugh out loud. And again, we're laughing out loud from the Mrs. Akan win. So I appreciate you. Some people's cars will be sleeping better than people. Yeah, you're totally right, Ecosmios. That is the way the world works. Interesting world. It's about leveraging and taking advantage of what we can see. All right. So Ellie Ballroom says, awesome perspective. Love it. Thank you ever so much. Mrs. Akan win says about get on the ladder workshop. Oh wow, time flies. Yes, you are right. Digital property optimization, let's go. Powerful concept, Kingdom. Oliver Tolson, I appreciate that. Ellie Ballroom says outstanding value. Also Kimwin, great to have you in the comments, great to have you on the stream. He says fabulous value, appreciate that. All right, I think we got a question. And guys, let your questions come in. If you got questions, let your questions come in. Let's tackle the questions before we jump off the stream. But we're doing this. Let me go for this quickly. We got Osai Kimwin in the chat who says financial freedom in terms of what will be done if investors were investing in deals. All right, let me go into the question. Guys, if you've got any other questions, send your questions in. Let's tackle these questions and then jump into the wrap up for tonight's stream. Before I answer any questions, let me do the right thing and read our disclaimer. Disclaimer quickly. All information provided and results given are exemplary. Each person's results may vary or differ. Results are based on consistent strategies, and we advise that you always seek legal and financial advice from a qualified professional. All right, now Told you guys about the book in the description. Told you guys about the content for day 19. Let's jump into the questions before we shift on for today's stream. KTR says, let's say there is a delay in paying back an investor due to current climate or anything else. How do you deal with this? Powerful question. Okay. Powerful question. Slightly off the topic, but powerful question because it's connected. All right. Now, if you follow what we've been sharing yesterday and today, KTR and all of us, what you'd understand is that working with these investors has a real premise of trust, a real premise of relationship, a real premise of care. There needs to be an element of care. And one thing I've learned from my experience, and I'll be open about this, is every investor is different. Every investor is different. Every investor's expectations are different. One of the things you can do, the more you work with investors, is you can start to create systems and put those systems in place which make the investor feel comfortable. So for example, I'll use a tenant example, then I'll shift it into an investor example. You may have so many tenants that you've created systems around tenancies and around late payments. So for example, if someone doesn't pay rent on the specific day they're supposed to pay rent, you might have a text message that kind of automatically goes to them. Hey, this is Samuel, just checking in if everything's okay. Notice that you didn't pay your rent yesterday. If you got any problems, let me know. Then from there, you might have another message that you trigger 72 hours, 3 days after the rent's not paid. Hey, this is Samuel. Didn't hear back from you, when I messaged you 2 days ago. I hope everything's okay. I've noticed that you haven't paid the rent for 4 days. If there's a problem, please let us know. Alternatively, our system will basically start to issue you, the eviction process, whatever. Then you might get to the next month where if they miss, automatically it triggers a text message which says, hey, you've now missed 2 payments of rent. This now makes you 2 months in arrears. At this present time, the team are going to go forward with the eviction process. And then from there, again, you might have blah, 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 blah. So that's just me describing / articulating a simple system that you may have in place in order to deal with a process, all right? Now, take that whole framework and now extrapolate that framework onto the ideology of investors. You could have the exact same thing. You can have a predicament where your investors receive a message basically saying, hey, thanks for deciding to invest with us. This is what's going to be happening over the next couple of months, blah, 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 blah. Then again, 3 days after the investment, hey, we wanted to schedule with you certain days where you can come and see the project. If that's one of the things you offer, if that's one of the things you do, then again, you might have your third message, which comes out on a monthly basis, which basically says, this is just a quick update to let you know that, this is what's happening with the project's on track, blah, 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 blah. Now, that's the general framework. Now, coming into KTR's scenario, she's talking about where you're potentially late because of obviously the lockdown or all of those things. Maybe the property didn't generate the same revenue. So as a result, you got less funds to pass on to your investor. Now, coming with the first premise I gave, every investor is different. Now, the reason you have to remember that when I talk about system is even if you put a system in place around late payments, etc., you have to remember you're dealing with an individual. And if you really want to show an individual you care, you have to deal with them on an individual basis. So one of the things you might do, even though you have a system in place, is still implement check-ins with that specific individual. So if you're going to be late to pay back a loan or to pay back an investor, what you should do is that's one of those key points where you take this off the system and make it individual. You have an individual call with them and you say to them, look, hey, this is Samuel calling. I know we had terms and conditions in place. And obviously one of our terms and conditions was what happens if things are late. I just wanted to have a conversation with you because it looks like that may be the case. Let me know when's your earliest convenience for us to have a chat. Let's set up a Zoom. Let's break it down and see exactly what we can do to basically make this work for you and for me, because my heart around this is making this a win for you, making this a win for me, and that hasn't changed. So that's the kind of message I'll probably leave, send, or drop to the individual, and then I'll jump on a Zoom and I will really play it on an individual basis. I want to know where they're at. I want to know what's their predicament. I'll give you an example. I had an investor once who we weren't late. I've never, again, thank God, I've never been late in paying an investor back. But I had an investor once who started checking in on us from a month before the date we had agreed to pay back. And what later transpired is that specific investor started kind of hounding us a couple weeks before the day the investment on the agreement was supposed to be paid back. And the way we dealt with it is we basically adhered. Obviously, everyone's an individual. We adhered to what he was basically doing, the pressure he was putting on us. We paid on the day that was agreed. We did the right thing because we didn't want to not do that. But then after, I reached out to the investor on a personal note, and I was like, hey, a month before we were supposed to pay you back, you were reaching out, asking us if everything was okay and all of this stuff. What's up? Like, was everything okay on your side? What happened? And long story short, what ensued is that investor then later told me that he was going through financial difficulties. He had challenges going on in his life. And as a result, he just kind of really wanted the money out ASAP. Now, I share all of that with you guys for you guys to, and there's a bit more to that story as well. If you guys want the bit more, just write a bit more and I can give you the bit more. It's just a bit of added context, which makes it a bit clearer why that all actually happened. I didn't see the context at the time. It was actually having a conversation with my wife where my wife pointed something out, which was actually quite pertinent. Which made me realize, oh, so this is probably why that happened. But again, if you guys want a bit more, say a bit more, and I'll share that with you. It's not long, just it gives you a bit of a fuller context. But long story short, the reason I share that with you is because you need to understand you're dealing with people on an individual basis. The moment you understand you're dealing with people on an individual basis, you need to cater to them individually. And part of that is having that one-to-one and just having a conversation. Now, again, going back to day 4, faith and fear comes in again. You might be saying to yourself, oh, you're afraid of communicating with them. But one thing you got to understand, it's the same as when a company's not paying their bills, or a person's not paying their bills to a company. Or think of it from your own perspective. If you got a tenant who's not paying you rent, what would you prefer? Would you prefer the conversations, even though you feel like, oh, they might be taking a mick, they might be lying, whatever? Or would you prefer them to kind of stonewall you, not communicate with you, not talk to you, disappear kind of thing? Now, because I have spent a lot of time in the Property Investors Network, which is a property investing community. I spent a number of years in that community as a host of networking events, as a student of their training, as a person facilitating their training as well. One of the things I'd say is I've been in an environment in many different ways, in experiences as well, where I've come across people who haven't been paid their investment back on time. And I've come across people that haven't been paid their investment back at all. So I want to share this, guys. There is an element of risk in investing all the time. I just want to be open about that. But the reason I'm sharing this is when you host one of the largest networking events in the UK and you have over 100 people coming each month, you hear stories, both good, bad, and ugly. And you hear stories about other people, unfortunately. But the reality is, the reason I want to share that is because I want you to understand there's people who have approached me and said, look, Samuel, you're part of the Property Investors Network community. There's this person, he's part of the Property Investors Network community, or she is. And basically, they took a loan from X amount of us and, the 12 months is finished. It's actually gone 18 months. We haven't heard from them, blah, blah, blah. Can you reach out to them? And in several cases, I've actually reached out to those people, had conversations with them because I care about the person. That's the reason I've done that. Not because, I'm the head honcho and I've got pulling power. No, I know I've got a lot of good connections and relationships in the community and still have. But it was really just about, I care about this person. I don't want this person to lose. And if they are going to lose their money, I want them to at least be able to know, to again, relieve that emotional burden of what's actually happening. So this again comes back to the emotion I was talking about earlier. So I would say to you, KTR, in a snapshot, you need to bring that to the table. You need to bring to the table the fact that you care about the investor more than the fact that you've just got their money. And as a result, you want to be transparent with them. You want to have a communication with them. You want to let them know, hopefully, if you can, in advance, the money's not going to be paid on time. But then you want to work with them throughout what your contingency plan is to be able to get them their funds back. So, KTR, let us know in the comments how many stars you give to that answer and if that's been of help to you. Now, I see your comment in the chat. KTR says a bit more. So here's the additional context. The year before this specific investor invested with us that I mentioned started hounding us a month early, we had another 2 investors who invested with us the whole year before. Those 2 investors who invested with us the year before were paid back a month early. And at the time, one of the things I did, again, it's not something I regret, but it's just something I've learned from. One of the things I did is I made quite a bit of noise about that on social media because it was a great feeling for me. The fact that they invested money into a 12-month project, they got paid back in month 11, and we paid them all of the interest that we would have paid them if we paid them in month 12. So basically, we didn't take away the month 12 interest because we paid them a month early. Now, obviously, it's not every deal we can do that, but we saw we could do that on that deal. So we did that for those investors. So we had 2 investors on a particular year who we paid a month early and we paid them the full 12-month interest. So what basically happened is this gentleman invested with us after these people. And again, like I said, I've already shared the story of what happened. If you're just tuning in now, just rewind, later on when we're not live and hear that. But basically, what basically happened was we got to a stage where after we had paid the gentleman back, I had the conversation with the gentleman, found out the gentleman was going through some financial issues. I then had a conversation with my wife about things, which I generally do in terms of kind of summarizing. It's kind of like my wife's like my second journal, if I put it that way. So me and my wife had a conversation about it, and my wife said something powerful. She goes, "You do know that this gentleman knows personally those other 2 people who invested with you a year before." And I was like, "Yeah, so what's the problem?" And then my wife then dropped the bombshell and said, "Well, obviously, if you pay them back a month early, you do know that could have been this gentleman's expectation." Okay. Now, again, this is one of the challenging things. Me and my wife ended up having a weird conversation about it because I actually was very adamant. But no, we signed an agreement which had a date. Why would he expect to be paid a month earlier? But I think as I've matured, I started to realize my wife was totally right. Basically, I feel that because of the association with those other investors who we did pay a month early, there was an expectation, which I will say was unfounded, in my opinion. Obviously, it was founded on the fact that it happened for them, but there was an expectation for that individual to get their money back early, which again we didn't negotiate, we didn't agree. It wasn't what we signed. So yeah, hopefully that helps you, KTR, as well, in terms of you getting a bit more of the context. Now, guys, with all of that being said, we have been rocking on day 19. I know you guys have been getting value. Let me know in the chat if you've been getting value, how much value you've been getting on day 19 of your 21 days of property investing success. Guys, this specific day has been a real pleasure to kind of connect with you guys. I shared with you guys one of the principles previously, that the value you receive from a speaker, from a presenter, from a coach, from a teacher is connected with what you bring. And we can see from Kingdom Oluwatosin earlier on, that is exactly the reality. But guys, it's always going to be the reality because that's just a universal principle. Now, with all of that being said, I want to encourage you, if you have not already, to go and watch this video. Okay, a great big well done to those of you who connected with us on yesterday's masterclass, and we will continue to do our masterclasses every single Monday at 8 p.m. You can register for our masterclasses by going to impactproperties.co.uk/masterclass. But if you haven't watched this video, guys, this video is going to be crucial for you to understand how you can win in 2021 and beyond as it pertains to your property investing journey and your property investing success. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. on our usual time for day 20. Guys, it's nearly over for day 20 of your 21 days of property investing success. I'm Samuel I Can Winnie Kimwin. It's been a great pleasure to spend this time with you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you win in your property investing. And as I usually say, happy investing.